I was never a believer in testing. I always believed that people who are the testees, are going to tell you exactly what they want you to hear. And that this is how they kept doing it year after year after year made me crazy. And we knew if this show was tested the way conventionally tested, it was not going to test well. And so we said we didn't want this, we didn't want this tested. They said fine. So, we did the pilot. Pilot itself, shooting went well. They wanted to test it, of course. And we said fine. As long as it's understood that we make no changes based on any results of this testing, because we knew, what the testing was going to be. And a few days later, we were summoned into Fox, into the big room with the long table, and they brought their tester professor in there, and he had the graphs and the big stacks of papers that he passed out to everybody that showed the results of the testing. And the testing was pretty much what we thought it would be. And he kind of went through every single demographic that he had, which was an amazing amount. These guys, nothing if they're not into their research. And he droned on for about 45 minutes about, the results of the testing. And just like we thought, he summed it up by saying that, the show tested well, and that's exactly how he said it. The show tested well. However, if we could go back and somehow make it more clear that deep down the kids really did have respect for their parents, that Al deep down really did care for his wife, that deep down the entire family did really care for each other, that we could potentially have something special, at work here. And that's when Ron uttered, and I total credit, uttered the famous line, and we would have every other effing sitcom in the history of television. And with that, we got up and walked out. Now, when we walked out that door, we were convinced that this show would never, ever see the light of day, because with all of the Fox executives in here, we basically said to you guys, shove this right now. Already, you guys, you haven't even been on the air yet, and you lied. So you're technically, congratulations, you are now an official network. Because right out of the box, you're lying to the people, to what's supposed to be your team. You're an official network now. Congratulations, see ya. And so we left. And later on, we got a call from Garth, who sounded like he just went 12 rounds with Joe Frazier. They must have just killed him. Who are these guys? How dare they? The usual, and they were going to go on. He said, no, you don't have to. They did give us a few things that they said that they wanted us to change in relation to the pilot, which were okay. But they didn't want us to change anything. Now, of course, later on we found out, this entire network has to air in about 2 weeks. So, no, they're not going to change anything, but you can bet the minute they had anything, they could be one of those little books that we used to read as kids, that, the flip page book that animate. If they had one of those, we were the first things gone that they were, going to air. So, no, we didn't change. So we really didn't change much.